feud between the Turkish government and New York Knicks basketballer Enes Kanter continues to boil. Less than a week ago, a Turkish court accepting an indictment charging his father with membership in a terror group. Prosecutors are looking to convict and jail the NBA player's father for at least a decade at trial. The Knicks centre himself currently faces 4 years in a Turkish prison for insulting the country's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Now, since Erdogan survived that attempted coup in 2016, Erdogan has been cracking down on the media and political opponents, leading to thousands of arrests. Kanter is a follower of cleric Fethullah Gulen, an Erdogan opponent living in exile in the United States, suspected of plotting that 2016 coup. Now, Kanter, for his part, has repeatedly referred to Erdogan as, quote, the Hitler of our century, saying this after his father's arrest in a video message to his sympathisers.
I wanted to be there with you at the Oslo Freedom Forum, but the Turkish regime cancelled my passport in retaliation to my criticism of Erdogan's destruction of Turkish democracy under the gross human rights violation under his rule. Freedom of expression in Turkey is under constant attack by Erdogan's government. At least 156 media outlets have been shut down. Turkey is now the leading jailer of journalists in the world.
And Enes Kanter joins me now from New York. And it's great to have you with us. Now, your father has been indicted on charges that he was a member of a terrorist organisation. How do you feel about these allegations?
Yes. I mean, of course, it feels really sad. It's my dad. And then my dad was never talking against the government or against Erdogan. But I think what they're trying to do is, just because of I talk, you know, just against the government and the regime so much, so they wanted to silence me. So that's why it's like it was like a little warning for me. But of course, I feel pretty sad. Just a couple days ago, the news came out, and they said the judge said 15 years in jail. So just definitely. Pretty heartbroken.
Sure. Now, last year there were reports that Turkish prosecutors had asked for you to be jailed for up to 4 years for insulting Erdogan. What can you tell us about that? It's
pretty funny because, you know, all I did on we're talking about Twitter. All I did was he was putting all the journalists in a jail, and he was putting all these innocent people in a jail. And he was using his power to abuse people. So what I did was talking against the regime. And then I never sent any death threats. I never talk, you know, anything crazy. I never cussed at him or anything. But just because of, you know, he wanted to show the powers that he has. So that's why he gave me 4 years in a jail, just because of insulting him. But all I did was, you know, trying to be voice of all these innocent people. Just because I was talking against him, he did not like it. So that's why he gave me 4 years in jail last year, and it was pretty crazy.
I suppose you just alluded to it there, but what prompted you to become an outspoken opponent of Erdogan?
I think for me, is the most important thing is, you know, just the voice of all these innocent people, because there is over 700 babies and over 20,000 women are in the jail right now, and it's killing my heart. And then again, Turkey is the #1 country in the world that putting journalists in the jail after the fake, I call it fake coup attempt. And then you see all this, like, you know, journalists, the schools are shutting down, the hospitals, all this, you know, just dormitories shutting down. So what I'm doing is trying to be voice of all these innocent people, because I have a strong voice.
Now, with your father being held by Turkish authorities, are you concerned about what you say now with regards to Erdogan and what could happen to your father as a consequence?
What could happen to him? I think now the judges and all the news were saying 15 years in jail, but he thinks this is going to silence me, that putting my father in jail for 15 years is going to silence me. When he do this kind of things, I want to talk more about what's happening in Turkey, because people really don't know what's really happening. So my thing is, you know, just to try to be voice of honest people, fight for human rights, fight for freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. I think it's really important for me because I have a strong voice, because I play in the NBA. People know my story because I'm in front of people's eyes, but there is thousands and thousands more people out there just, you know, they don't even know their story.
Right.
And
You've
that's why, you know, I'm trying to be a voice of all these innocent people.
At this early stage, of course, it is far too soon to call the results of these elections, but we do know that the preliminary results show that he could be set to retain the presidency. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, of course, it's pretty sad because I was cheering for human rights. I was cheering for freedom. And I think people don't understand. I love my country. I love my flag. Only thing I'm talking against is the regime in Turkey. But I think only thing I can do right now is just pray for my country, pray for my people, pray for my family, because I know right now there is my friends, my family friends, my neighbors, a lot of people are in jail waiting for help. But I think right now the country is going through a lot, going through really tough times. All I can do is just pray for my country, and then I think and I hope in the future this people will get knowledge more, get educated more, and then make, you know, better decisions, I think.
And what do you plan to do now? What's next for you and for your father, who, as you say, could face 10 years in jail?
For my family, it's pretty crazy because they cannot even travel. They can't even come to America. I tried, but they made a hole in their passport, so they cannot travel. For me, right now, I'm going to become an American citizen in a couple of years. So that's what I'm waiting for, because right now I have no passport. I have no country. So only thing I'm doing right now is just I have my green card, going to become an American citizen, and then go from there. But for my family, it's pretty sad because they cannot leave the country. You know, they cannot go outside of Turkey anywhere. And then right now they got, you know, 15 years in jail. So, but I think it's just all I can do, like I said, from New York, just pray for them.
All right, and appreciate that insight.